Hello, Tony.
Hello, Keith. How are you?
I am well. Today I'm actually very well. I don't hurt anywhere and I've had a very good day. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing really, really good. So, without further ado, why don't we just dive right into the topic that we want to talk about today? Because we kind of pinned something down that I think is super, super important, especially if you're a guy over the age of 40. And we're going to talk about energy,
Good
having
topic.
energy. Yeah, because there's a lot of guys out there, especially a lot of guys that I talk to that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and even their 70s. And one of the biggest complaints they have is they just don't have enough energy. And it's usually like, it's usually the guy who goes to work during the day, gets home at night, and wants to go out and do something, wants to go and exercise, wants to live a more active life, but just doesn't feel like moving. They're just mentally and physically exhausted by the end of the day. And once they eat dinner, it's over, man. And then the days just kind of roll together, just one day rolls into the next day, rolls into the next day. And it's kind of tragic, especially if you have like kids, or if your wife is really active and wants to do stuff with you. It's kind of, I can understand how it's frustrating for a lot of guys because they kind of feel like they're missing out on life.
Well, it's one of those things where um, first you touched on it. It's mental. You have to really want it enough to make some kind of push to get it. And there's a lot of different factors that can play into not having energy, not having the drive, um, not having the real want, and just being okay with, oh, fine, I've been doing this for the last 10 years, and this is my life now. A lot of times, a little teeny bit of real world motivation
Yeah.
that is enough driver to push him out of the couch, off the couch, or out of the chair, or whatever.
Yeah. There is that whole mental component of it, right? It's like just literally wanting to be better because there is a subgroup of people, I don't run into them too often. But they're the ones that are like perfectly fine just sitting on the couch. Then there's a lot of guys out there that, they want to be better. And there's some things, I think what we really want to talk about is what can these guys do who are well-intentioned, the guys who really want to make a change in their life, the ones who are ready to make that shift. And we talked about like mindset stuff in the last episode that we did, but who are really willing to put in the effort. So what are the things, what are the strategies, what are the tactics that we can give them to literally like double their energy? And there's one thing that comes to top of my mind like right away. It's the number one thing that I find that just about every single guy that's struggling with energy levels is missing out on. Do you know what it is? I'm sure you know what it is.
Probably sleep.
Yeah, man, like 100%.
Oh, it stands to reason that if you're not getting good sleep, then you're going to be, you go to bed tired and you wake up tired.
Yeah, no kidding, right? I
Yeah,
mean, I just out of curiosity, how often, how much, how long do you sleep at night on average, roughly?
8 hours. I
Do you
get,
really?
I get 8 hours. I get between 7 and 9 hours every night.
Every night.
Every night. Even if I wake up, most days, I wake up before my alarm. And that means that I have naturally gotten enough sleep. My body is rested and I just wake up. I don't
Wow.
start like I'm afraid, like I'm scared. I
Yeah.
just start hearing the birds, and then I hear the garbage truck go by, and then I open one eye and I open the other eye, and my alarm clock's across the room, so I don't sit up and look at it. But if I see it's light outside, I'm generally 10 o'clock, 10:30 in bed. So if I sleep till 6, there's my 8 hours, 7.5 hours.
And how long have you been sleeping like that? Has that been a long time?
Long time, years.
Nice.
years,
Yeah.
years, years. I've been married for 18 years, so at least that long.
Yeah.
Even yeah, long time.
Wow. I think last I heard it was like guys over the age of 40, they've actually got some statistics on sleep. And it's like guys over the age of 40, the average amount of sleep is like 6.5 hours.
Well, that's enough if you're the president and you got the world sitting on your shoulders.
I
But
would argue that's not enough if you're the president, because man,
well, I agree. But
my
at the same
goodness.
time, if you got if you got planets to manage, yeah, you get as much sleep as you can, and 6.5, 7 hours. Yeah. But I look at sleep as one of those things that there's not really what is it, the old saying? You can never make up lost sleep. Never
Yeah.
catch up on lost sleep. Never.
Yeah.
You lose 1 hour of sleep today, you've lost an hour of sleep. You'll never, ever, ever get it back.
Yeah.
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 So don't lose it. Get sleep. Sleep is, it's actually, to the best of my understanding, the only way you can recharge your batteries.
Yeah. It is like a necessary physiological thing that us humans, and really, I think just about every mammal, I'm not really sure about like reptiles and that, but I think every mammal has it in our DNA that we need to sleep. Like if we don't sleep, we'll die. It's kind of crazy.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how is it 3 or is it 7? Because there's a theory. You can go 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 7 days without 4 days without sleep. There's
Yeah. Yeah.
something like that that
Yeah.
goes from air all the way up to sleep and food and things like that you
Yeah.
can live without for so long.
Yeah.
And sleep is one of the more important things that we just got to be able to shut down to recover from the day. Have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't shut yourself down, your body will shut down. You will literally you'll pass out. You
Oh
can't
yeah,
live for very
your
long.
body will do it for you.
Yeah, it will shut down. Like it's that important. And there's been so much, because I kind of I've nerded out on this over the last few years. But there was a gentleman that wrote this book called Why We Sleep, and his last name is Walker, and it's either Matt or Mark, I can't remember, but he's one of the leading research scientists in the world of sleep. So he wrote this amazing book, and he talks about all of the research that was out there that has been done in the last 5-6 years around sleep. And like, here's kind of to sum it all up. If you don't sleep well at night, if you're not getting an adequate, and there's a few factors to this, but if you don't get an adequate amount of sleep, and if you don't get quality sleep, it negatively affects every single piece of your physiology. Like everything negatively is affected. And on the other side, if you
I
sleep
must be doing
good,
something right.
yeah, if you sleep good, it positively affects every single piece of your physiology in a positive way. Right. And it kind of makes sense, right? Like if we're not sleeping well, like our entire body sort of down regulates. And its sleep has even been linked to all kinds of different chronic diseases, everything from diabetes to cancer to heart disease, all the big killers. A lot of them are connected in some way, shape, or form with the quality and the duration of our sleep at night.
Well, I haven't nerded out to that degree, but I've read up on sleep a while ago, and sleep is one of the innate natural components of life.
Yeah.
And anytime you try to alter what's innate and natural, there's got to be some kind of negative consequences.
Yeah.
It just is. It's like if you don't eat, you'll die. You don't breathe, you'll die too. So, and those are innate natural things that we as humans, mammals, that we do. So sleep is pretty important.
Yeah. And usually the number one thing the number one symptom that most people have is the energy thing. It just goes back to energy. Like just about everybody that I talk to, when they mention something about energy, if I'm talking to them on the phone and we're talking about their situation, I'd say 50% of the time they're like, I just want more energy. I just want to feel better. I'm kind of dragging my butt around, and I'm always like, tell me a little bit about your sleep. What's going on there? Oh, my sleep is terrible, and there's all kinds of different reasons. But I think even with today's, the way today is with technology and phones and iPads and laptops, and, it's affected our sleep as a society.
Well, I read something somewhere that said 30 minutes before you sleep, no electronics, no TV, maybe a talking book or radio that you just listen to, and or a book that you can turn pages and read, or just be quiet, not necessarily meditate, but just wind down for the day. And me, I generally do talking book, and my stories, they're short little episodes, maybe 8-10 minutes. I do one with my headphones. When that one is over, and I take my headphones off and pull the covers over.
Yeah.
I cannot do, and it's so strange because my wife, she will turn off the lights. She'll be under the covers. She gets the screen on her phone and turn the light down so it doesn't disturb me. And she's over there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you still on your phone? Oh no, I'm fine. No, okay, I'm fine. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's almost like me and her are the polar opposites. But she does get good sleep, but she doesn't get enough.
Yeah.
And I'm almost the opposite. And it's weird because I'm a light sleeper. I hear my cat walk down the stairs.
Wow.
But it doesn't wake me. But I can hear him walk down the stairs. My cat.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I just when I sleep, I'm gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gone. And on average, I have old man issues. So on average, I'm up once or twice a night to use the toilet. And like I told you the other night, it is exactly 8 steps from my bed to the toilet and 8 steps back. And in that 16 steps and maybe another 10 or 15 seconds at the toilet, I get back into bed. I'm gone within seconds. I am right back where I was as soon as I pull the covers over my head.
Yeah. That's good. Maybe not so good, arguably not so good that you're getting up and even having to take those 8 steps.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things about sleep that I've learned, and that they're still like really researching and digging into, but as you might know, like there's a lot of, there's these different phases of sleep, right? So when we go to sleep at night, there's like light sleep, there's deep sleep, there's REM sleep, right? These are, I think, the 3 primary ones. And each one of those phases, they've been able in a research environment, like in a lab, when you go in for a sleep study, they can tell based on some of your brain waves when you're in those different phases of sleep, right? And what they've even been able to do is they've even been able to set up situations where they can stop you from going into these certain phases. Like, for example, they'll let you sleep for a week, but you'll never get into deep sleep.
Yeah.
You might play a sound at a certain decibel level that doesn't wake you up, but keeps you out of deep sleep. It's really interesting stuff. And they'll test and see like what happens to you when you don't hit these different phases. And what they're finding out is these different phases of sleep have some sort of a connection to some sort of a physiological thing. And I'll just give you an example because this was really, really fascinating to me. There's a certain phase of sleep, and I don't remember which one it was. I think it was deep, but I don't remember. But there's a certain phase of sleep that when you're in it, your brain is like, it's obviously sitting in your skull, and there's these like sprinklers on your brain. And when you get to this certain phase of sleep, the sprinklers turn on and your brain is rinsed with this cerebral spinal fluid. And this sort of rinsing thing, like I picture it like a car wash, like I picture your brain like going through this car wash, right? And when your brain is being sort of washed with this, it gets rid of some of the plaques that build up. And there's 2 plaques that are linked to Alzheimer's disease, right? Dementia, Alzheimer's disease. There's a thing called amyloid beta, and there's another one called tau tangles. And I think it's a protein, but these things build up in the brain, and people that have dementia or Alzheimer's disease have a really high level of these plaques. And one of the things that happens is when you're in that phase of sleep, like it washes those plaques away. So there's this hypothesis that when we don't hit certain phases of sleep, like deep sleep, our risk for dementia, Alzheimer's goes up pretty dramatically.
So am I setting myself up? What was your name again? I don't mean to joke. That's not funny.
It is, because neither of us have to do it. Yeah, yeah. Where am I? Yeah.
Where?
So like whenever I have someone, there's 2 things we look at. When I'm working with a client, there's 2 things we look at when it comes to sleep. Like I want to know, how long are you sleeping? And research says somewhere between 7 to 9 hours, just like what you said. Somewhere between 7 to 9 hours is the agreed upon time to be able to get into all of those phases and to be able to spend enough time in all of those phases. And then the second thing that we look at is, was it continuous? Did you sleep continuously through the night? And if you didn't, like, let's just say you wake up at 2 o'clock every morning, it might be right in the middle of your light sleep cycle. And it might decrease the amount of time that you've spent there, or it might completely disrupt that phase, meaning that you don't get the full health benefit of being in that phase of sleep.
Well, again, I'm an old guy, and the doctor told me that this is a man issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said somewhere between 85 and 95% of men will have this. She said it's like vision. She said everybody's eyes will go bad at a certain time, and you will have to have corrective lenses. She said there is rare that don't have to wear glasses ever in their life, but it's rare. And same thing with this issue that I have. Most men in their life will have this issue at some time. Not all, but most. So in that respect, I'm doing the normal thing, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't have to wear glasses until I was well into my late 40s, early 50s. I didn't have to wear corrective lenses. And I don't now. It's just I have to wear them to read, but I can see fine. But anyway, I might be inadvertently setting myself up for Alzheimer's or something, but if that be the case, I'll just start writing stuff down and forgetting where I put it, you know.
Yeah. And I just use that as an example, but there's these connections to all of these things, even like atherosclerosis, which is like the plaque buildup in the arteries. You know,
Yeah.
There's some certain things that happen in some of these different phases of sleep that potentially could help you to recover or to heal, to regenerate, because that's why we sleep, from all kinds of different things, you know. So when I find, go
I
ahead.
look at sleep kind of sort of in the way I would look at a recovery day from working out. You know, you do a heavy leg day, or forget a heavy leg day, just a hard workout, just in general, where you just work everything really hard. I'm not the guy that's going to go out and work out 7 days a week. To me, it just doesn't work. I don't know if it's because I'm old, or just, I feel like sometimes your body needs at least a day, sometimes two, to recover from that, you know, because you can go out and work legs today, and tomorrow your legs are screaming, but you can work your upper body, you know, back, chest, shoulders, whatever. So you can alternate different parts of your body to let the other one rest. But sometimes I personally feel like with good sleep, you need a good day of recovery, or even 2 days of recovery. Let your body recover from the strain. And if good sleep is, you know, will assist in that effort, take your ass to bed early.
It's important. It's so important.
It's important that rest is one of those things. And for a long time, I was of a mind, even if you didn't sleep, just rest. Lay there and try to still your mind. Let your body lay still. Don't move. You know, spread your legs apart, spread your toes, spread your fingers, so no part of your body is touching another part. And just lay there and just rest.
Yeah.
Don't move.
Just relax.
And that is, relax. And, you know, when I can't sleep, which is rare, but when those times come when work is stressing me out and I'm trying to figure out how to do whatever, that's what I do. I let my body just relax. I try to, the thing that I do two things. I will focus subconsciously on a brick wall, consciously on a brick wall, and then I'll take it down to one brick.
Wow. I love that.
Well, it works for me. I can't, you know. And then the other thing I do is I focus on a lake or a body of water, and I take it down to where the wind is blowing, and then it just gets calmer and calmer until the water is still. And I'm actually looking at the still water. Those are the two things that work for me.
Wow.
I don't think, you know, I'm not even going to propose anyone else do it. But, you know, if you're listening to this, this is how I relax my mind. Because a lot of times your mind will not let you sleep because you're thinking about the person you got to fire tomorrow. You're thinking about, will your car make it tomorrow? You're thinking about your bank account. You're thinking about your daughter that's messing with the dope fiend down the street. You know, you're thinking about your son who's all of a sudden liking to wear mommy's high heels. You know, you're thinking about all kind of stuff, and sometimes you just need to help your mind calm itself.
Yeah.
These are two strategies that
Yeah.
work for me.
I think that's really valuable for people, because it is so easy, especially for busy guys, you know, who have a
Yeah.
stressful job or whatever. Maybe they're going through something stressful in their life. And if they don't have the tools to shut themselves down, it becomes a problem. And then, you know, they can get sick. Their energy levels are in the toilet every single day for as long as they're stressed out. You know, it's just so important to have those tools to be able to shut yourself down, to really go to sleep. And I think, you know, you and I, you know, growing up, we, you know, this was my mentality for like the first 30 years of my life, maybe even longer, but it was like, sleep when you're dead.
Yep.
You know,
I
like
was that guy
that's
that
what we were
the
told.
party. Where's the next party?
Yeah. Just sleep when you're dead, man. Like, what's wrong with
Yep.
you? You know,
Yep. Yep.
I thought that was the tough guy thing to do. And then I realized later on that I'm like, man, you know, I really got to go to sleep, because that's more tough guy. When you feel amazing in your day, when you have a lot of energy, the difference that just the feeling that I have when I sleep good at night compared to the nights I don't sleep good, it's so dramatic. Like, my mood is off. I don't feel good. Like, everything is bad.
Well, I'm of a mind that your body knows how much sleep it needs at any given time. If you're really tired, your body will just shut down and your alarm will have to wake you up, and you might push snooze once or twice
Mm-hmm.
because you don't feel like your body doesn't feel like it's got enough sleep. On the opposite end of that is you set your alarm for whatever time and you wake up 15 minutes before it goes off, because your body is like, okay, I'm rested. I'm ready to wake up. So your body naturally wakes up. There are certain times of the year when I just wake up just because. You know, I just wake up. A lot of times it's the stupid bird that's sitting in the tree right outside of my window. If I had a shotgun with buckshot, I would kill it and go out and stomp on it when it fell to the
Oh,
ground.
wow. My goodness.
Yeah, piece of.
Man, don't mess with your sleep. My goodness. You're like, whew, dang.
But you know what I'm saying is sometimes there are outside influences that
Yeah.
will wake. You know, the garbage truck coming by at 6:30, 5:30. You know, zero dark 30.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes things are beyond your control that bring you out
Yeah.
of sleep. And then there are other times when you just naturally wake up. Your body has said, okay, this 7 hours and 20 minutes, I've had enough. I need to wake up. So you just come to.
Yeah.
And then you lay there until your alarm goes off, and you realize that just about the time you wake up, you come to, you say, okay, I'm going to lay here until my alarm goes off. Your alarm goes off 3 seconds later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wake up right before your alarm goes off.
Yeah. It
Which
is
is
pretty
cool.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
So
Patterns.
there are
We
times
get in
when
patterns.
there are times when you have had enough sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And it was kind of interesting the way they came up with this 7 to 9 hours, you know, as that's the duration that adult humans are supposed to get. They took a whole bunch of people, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but they took a whole bunch of people to somewhere in the wilderness where there was no streetlights, no phones, no electronics. They took them out there for like, I don't even remember what it was, like 2 weeks or something. And they just didn't tell people what time it was. And they just saw what time people started to fall asleep and what times people started to wake up. They just want to see what like the natural rhythm would be. And that's where they came up with the 7 to 9 hours. And it was, you know, initially the first few days, it was kind of messy and sporadic. And then after, you know, you have to look up the study because I don't remember the details, but after a while, just about everybody started sleeping somewhere within that 7 to 9 range. And it correlated really well with the light and dark, right? Surprise, surprise, right? When the sun goes down and the moon comes up, we go to sleep. When the sun comes up, we wake up. There's like these sensors, these natural sort of rhythms. We call it a circadian rhythm in the body that just kind of follows that light dark cycle.
Yeah, and it's a cool thing because it's natural. We don't have to try to do it. Most people rail against it. You know, most people go to bed at 11:30 and wake up at 6. and they think that that's enough sleep. I with their alarm, I've had enough sleep. I got to get my day going. I got so much to do today. And it's those people that never get it done, never get it finished, and they're always behind the eight ball. They're always stressed out because they got so much to do. I don't want to sleep too long, because if I sleep too long, then I won't get more done.
Yeah.
I was once told by this guy, I said, man, there's not enough hours in the day. I just don't have enough time in the day. He said, oh, that's easy. I said, what? He said, wake up earlier. And that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
Because you wake up earlier, you lose some sleep that you could have gotten. And at the end of the day, you still don't get everything done.
Yeah. It affects
So
your productivity,
kind of
right?
like a lose-lose.
Yeah. If you're exhausted during the day, like I know for me, if I don't, and I sleep pretty good, but there are days when I don't sleep as good. I know I'm not as productive. I just don't feel like doing stuff. I just feel off, So yeah. Getting up early. That was like again, it kind of, I think it goes back to our generation, which we were told, sleep when you're dead, get up early, go out and do your work. And there's nothing wrong with getting up early as long as you accommodate for that, because if you sleep 8 hours, like I love going to bed at a reasonable time, getting up at like 5 a.m. and crushing the day. I love that. I love that.
And I think there's something in the Bible. I think it's in Proverbs. I'm not sure where, but I'm pretty sure it's in Proverbs. It says that the man who likes sleep will be hungry. So get your 8 hours and get up.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Get your 7 hours and then get your ass up.
Yeah. Get up and go. Yeah.
Get up and go. Make the day. I can remember that for a long time. I wouldn't get up. I would stay in bed and sleep and turn over and wake up and turn back over and sleep, and 9, 10 o'clock. Oh yeah, I think I'll get up. No. Nowadays on the weekends, a late sleep for me, 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's a late sleep for me.
Yeah.
And I don't do that hardly ever.
Yeah. But if you're the guy living on coffee, just to get through your day and drinking the coffee in the afternoon to get through your day because your energy is low, try getting some sleep. It's a game changer. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with, and we've only fixed some of their sleep stuff, and literally their energy levels, like within a week, will double. They'll feel 100 times better. And there's even like a lot of the guys that we work with, they have a little bit of extra body fat that they're trying to get rid of. There's even like connections to body fat and sleep. Like if you don't get enough sleep at night, your physiology, and this is the hypothesis, this is really interesting, but the physiology changes where the foods that you eat, because food is energy, right? We put energy into our body. I call them energy inputs, right? We put the energy into our body, and what the body should do is put that and use that for our daily activity tasks, right? If we're going to, whatever it is we're doing, we need that energy to be able to go through our day. But instead, if your body's tired, it stores it as fat because it doesn't want you to be energetic. It wants you to go to sleep. So it will intentionally switch gears and put you in storage mode instead of burn mode, because it wants you to go to sleep. It's like the internal message, like, hey, go to bed, get some rest.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it kind of makes sense. Like if you really think about it, it's kind of a defense mechanism of your body to get you to really sleep. But if you keep fighting that for, let's say years and years and years, what could potentially happen?
But what if you have insomnia? What if you have insomnia?
Yeah, you need to figure out what the cause is. You need to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, but what if you figure out you have insomnia and you can't sleep? Then what? You get fat?
Yeah, it's a serious problem. You get fat and you could potentially get really, really ill.
Interesting.
It's a serious problem.
I actually know somebody that doesn't necessarily have insomnia, but sometimes struggles sleeping for, go to bed at 9 o'clock and wake up at 3:30. Yeah. Go to bed at 10 o'clock and, wake up at 5.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. And what we generally look for, like in Athletic After 40 in our coaching program, is we generally look for patterns. I want to see like, what's happening. And then we want to have conversations around those things. You know, if we see a pattern of you get up at 3 o'clock every single morning, what's happening at 3 o'clock? What's waking you up? And it could be something as simple as like, I get up and pee every day. That's usually for most guys over 40, you know, 50s and 60s, 70s, especially. That's like you said, it's the norm. But you'd be surprised. Sometimes we can fix that just with something as simple as shifting up the hydration times. Like, in other words, stop drinking water after 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock.
Yes.
And all of a sudden you sleep through the night. Like, it's that simple. Yeah.
It's that simple.
It's that
Stop
simple.
drinking water by 7:30, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Stop drinking anything. Makes a huge difference.
Does.
Yes.
Oh, does.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Let me go get a glass of water.
Yeah. Well, while we're waiting, you know, I think it's probably one of the most neglected things, at least in my experience, for so many people, because I think we don't understand the value of it as much as we probably should. When we think about getting ourselves healthy, we think about doing more exercise, we think about eating better, and those are important. But there's been phases in my life, and I'd say within the last 3 or 4 years, where I found that, and I've almost been convinced, just based on all the research and all the studying that I've been doing, that sleep is probably the most important thing. It trumps better nutrition and it trumps exercise. From a health standpoint,
I'm going to push back on that just a little. I think sleep falls, if there's 3, and the 3 being sleep in no particular order: sleep, exercise, and nutrition. I would say, for me, probably exercise, nutrition. No, maybe nutrition, sleep, and exercise. I think sleep would be in the middle, and exercise and nutrition can switch places. But I would say sleep would be number 2, because sleep is a recovery from exercise, and sleep is the storage and or burning and or I don't know, whatever the physiological thing happens when you eat, and you eat, and then 2 or 3 hours later you go to bed and sleep. I'm sure there's something in there that's going to happen so that when you wake up in the morning, you have energy. So, and I'm sure that sleep is a part of that, the breakdown process of that food into the energy that you're going to burn tomorrow. So for me, sleep is in the middle of the 3, which is exercise, nutrition, and sleep, because you need to be able to have a recovery day from a hard workout, and whatever the physiological processes are from eating your food and then going to sleep and having energy the next day to get up and even just to get up and have breakfast again. Let's put a little bit more energy in there. Now you're ready for the next 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Well, that's for me.
Yeah. And that's, it's up for debate, of course, but again, if we don't sleep good, it affects everything negatively, negatively. But at the end of the day, what we really promote, what we really preach is that we want to bring all 3 of these things together. Like, if you really truly want to be a healthy, fit, great looking, right? Like, if you want all these things to sort of come together for you as you get older, it's important that we bring them all into the picture instead of piecemealing it, because I think a lot of times guys, they start feeling like they're letting themselves go, and maybe they'll eat better, or maybe they'll do a little bit of exercise. Usually those are the 2 things, but when we bring them, and they'll get limited results, but when we bring the whole thing together, right? When we start sleeping good at night, when we start eating good foods, and when we start doing some exercise, that's transformational. Like, that's going to create a new, more healthful, better version of you on every front.
I agree 100%. it's not, well, let's try this and it'll work, or let's try that and it'll work. It's even in small doses, it's a combination of the three.
Yeah.
And without the, the trifecta effect, without all three, even if you do two of the three, you'll, like you said, you'll get minimal results at best and nothing at worst. But if you put all three together, even in small doses, the effects will be not necessarily overnight, in a week, but maybe in 2 or 3 weeks, you'll see and feel and respond better. You'll have more energy, you'll have more stamina, you'll be able to go a little bit longer and a little bit harder. And if you put them all together in large amounts, good nutrition, 80% of the time, good exercise, consistent, consistent exercise, 3 or 4 days a week for 30, 45 minutes. And you get, 6 to 8, 7 hours, 7, 8 hours of good sleep.
Yeah.
The results are, what can I say? Would it be phenomenal or drastic or dramatic? Any of those three will work.
Yeah. I mean, depending on where you're starting this journey from, I mean, it's like, sometimes I ask people, I'm like, imagine just like what you said, like if you consistently slept good at night, if you consistently ate well, and you consistently exercise for the next 365 days for the next year, what do you think what do you think your life would look like in a year from now? How different would it be? And when you just do that little mental experiment, like, right, that little thought experiment, like it's, you can envision, just imagine how much better how much better you'd be in a year if you brought those three things together consistently.
A lot of people would say a year. Yeah, a year sounds good. I tend to be a little more realistic, down to earth. 3 months.
Oh yeah, 3 months is dramatic, but imagine a year.
You do these things. 5. You do these things for 3 months.
Yeah, you'll make a big change.
And here's $1,000. I will set this envelope of $1,000 on the table. Again, depending on where you start from.
Yeah.
You do this consistently for 3 months, and let's see the results. Heck, you do it consistently for 3 months. First, the $1,000 is yours. And second, chances are, if you do it for 3 months consistently, you'll want to keep doing it for the other 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you'll see such a dramatic and feel such a dramatic increase in everything that you'll want to keep doing it because you like it at the end of the day. I mean, I tell folks often, I've told you a few times, quite a few times, when I go get a hard workout, come in the house, if I could bottle that feeling, those endorphins, if I could bottle that, I'd sell it. I'd sell it for cheap because I'd want everybody to get it and have it. But I'd sell it because I'd want to make money on it. But I'd sell it for cheap. I'd bottle it and sell it because it's such a feeling to know that you ate good all day. You go to the gym and you're able to grind yourself, and then you come in and have a decent dinner and go to sleep because you're tired.
Yeah.
What could be better? I mean, shit, man, win the lottery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I could think of a whole lot of things that I won't say, but kick the wife and kiss the dog kind of thing,
Yeah.
But to me, it has to be all three. You're not going to get the result if you apply just one or maybe two. It has to be the three: nutrition, sleep, and exercise. And this athletic after 40 thing, it kind of works. It actually kind of works. I'm not a client, but I'm the president as well as a client. No, I just have to say that. Hair Club for Men.
Yep. Yeah.
Everybody
remember. Listen to this. Remember that. Yeah. Not only am I a client, not only am I the founder, I'm also a client.
Yes,
Yeah, that guy was
yes. I guess
awesome.
if you're over 40, you'd remember that one.
Yeah.
Yes,
Was he the guy?
yes.
Was he the guy who was spraying the hair on his head? Was that the spray
No,
thing?
I think he was the one with the hair plugs.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Because there was the guy that used to spray the hair on too. Remember the spray can?
Yeah, yeah. Here, see,
Yeah.
I'm bald. Now I'm not. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
um,
I can't.
but I've
Yeah,
I've
we
done
can't
this
say that you
stuff.
grow hair.
No, I don't think. I mean, well, no, you won't grow hair. Chances are you'll lose some of it, but it's okay. Small price to pay to be fit. Take it
Yeah.
from me.
There you go. There
When
it
you get
is.
my age, hair becomes what is it? A commodity? No, it becomes a inconsequential adornment. And I only wear a hat because my head is cold. Yeah, I mean, hair. Come on, really?
Inconsequential. Wow, I don't even know what you said. That was really good.
Inconsequential adornment.
Adornment. Wow. Well done. Well said, sir. Well
Shame,
said.
shame on the person that will do everything he possibly can to keep his hair. If
Yeah.
hair is going to be your Achilles heel, go get some muscles and see which one will get you where you want to be first. Muscles or hair,
Yeah.
fitness or hair.
Yeah.
Come on.
Get the muscles all day. Yeah.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Give me muscles.
And
Take all my hair. Give me muscles.
and if you start sleeping good at night and you start eating better and you start working out, it always, like 100% of the time, improves your confidence. 100%
Yeah,
of the time.
well, and
Everybody.
if you eat good and do exercise and sleep right, it probably will 100% of the time lose your hair but gain you muscle. So
Yeah. Yeah. Which is going to make you more confident. It's going to make you feel better about being in this world, right? Like, who doesn't want to be
yeah,
confident? Like, I want to take my
I
shirt off
couldn't
and
I
feel
couldn't
good.
help that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't help that. Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
One
There
other
has to
thing.
be there has to be a comedic element to this thing. It has to be.
We got to have fun, right? That's why we're here.
Believe that.
Yeah. There's one last little thing, we talk about. I call it the triangle of transformation: fitness, sleep, and nutrition. And then I also, there's this one other piece, and I've been debating, and I've been debating for like a year. Do you make it a whole nother, instead of the triangle of transformation, do you make it like the rectangle of, I don't know, I got to come up with something for that. But my point being is, should there be this fourth one? And I'd like to get your opinion on this, because there is another thing that's really, really important, and it's stress management. But generally, I lump stress into sleep. I put them together. And the only reason I do that is because the number one way that our body manages stress so that we don't get too stressed out is, believe it or not, it's with sleep. If you don't sleep well at night, your body doesn't deal with the stress well.
Most times, I was told, I read somewhere years ago, if you're in the woods being chased by a bear, you need to be really stressed out.
Yeah, I'm not saying stress is bad, but chronic stress is bad.
You need to be stressed to the max if a bear is chasing you and you're trying to get away.
Yeah.
But if life stresses you, a lot of times it's like that bear. It's outside of your control. I mean, you're in the woods and you just happen to kick the log. That's just being stupid. First, being in the woods, and second, kicking a log. But sometimes life's stresses are beyond your control. They're things that you're only a small cog in a huge machine, and where you are, there's a whole lot of other cogs grinding on you. So to manage that stress is more of, to me, is to more of have a release. I mean, yes, sleep is a good release of stress, but it doesn't relieve what's going on. It doesn't stop the turn of the other gears grinding on you. Because when you wake up, those gears are still turning. But if you have a release, a lot of people will say, let me go and lift something heavy so I can relieve some stress. I always pour salt on that. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, if that's what it takes to help relieve your stress, let's go to the gym and lift some heavy shit. Because for those few minutes, that hour that you're lifting heavy stuff and doing burpees and pulling a rower and doing pull-ups and whatever else, hopefully you're not thinking about anything but that next rep.
Yeah.
And if that's what it takes to help relieve your stress, then for those few minutes, your stress is relieved or gone or eased, so that when you are finished, you're tired. And the stress of the physical stress of working out will make you tired, so that when you do go to sleep, you get good sleep because you're not stressing over the other gears grinding on you. So it kind of has a like a domino effect on, again, I do not go to the gym to relieve stress in my life. I try not to have too much of it. When I
Yeah.
get stressed out, I do. I kick my wife. No, I'm just kidding.
I
She
hope
wouldn't
so.
have it.
And I know your wife.
She'd
I know
probably kick me
she'd
back.
kick your ass. Yeah, I know better.
Yeah,
I'm
but
lucky
what
enough
I'm
to know
saying,
you guys well enough.
yeah, you know Jolene, you know how she
Yeah,
is.
she ain't gonna take that from
But
me.
and she's got 3 brothers, you know.
Nice.
So but what I'm saying is if that is a real thing to do, and I'm sure for some people they need a physical release,
Yeah.
something that they can actually put their hands on and squeeze or pull or push or whatever to relieve their stress, then let that be it. Let that be your motivator. Let becoming more fit, becoming a better version of yourself, so that you can handle those stresses better. Because I know that when I go home, I have a way to release some of this stress. Going to the gym and working out, having a plate of healthy food,
Yeah.
whole food, real food, a pork
Yeah.
chop, some sauteed vegetables, and a baked sweet potato. And
Yeah.
then because you ate a good meal and you just had an hour of hard workout, now you're tired and you just go to bed,
Yeah.
and you will sleep
And you
through,
will sleep.
don't drink any water after 7 o'clock, but
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
think about this, and then you'll sleep through the night and
Yeah.
wake up in the morning ready to handle the stresses that are still waiting for you.
Yeah. I was, the two things. Number one, like part of it, stress, some of stress is how we perceive it. And different people
Yeah,
perceive things in different ways, right? So it's more of a perception than anything, because stress is kind of ethereal. It's not really it's not real. It's what we
yeah,
make of it. It's
yeah,
our perception of what's happening, how we feel something is happening to us. Or it's something that we're trying to figure out, right? If I'm trying to figure out a really complicated problem, my brain just spins and it tries to figure out the answer. It kind of goes into this loop, right? That's what kind of keeps us up at night sometimes. So
believe me, I
point,
build stuff. I know
yeah,
about that.
yeah. Point being is, like, part of it is we have to really be aware of what our perceptions are around this type of thing. Are we really sensitive to some certain things? And is there a way for us to maybe look at things a little bit differently? And I know it's not easy, but there are some different tools that you can use to sort of see things differently. When you see things differently, it will help you to bring your stress levels down. When you have some of those tools to look at things from a little different angle, to not get so stressed out, right? It makes a big difference. And one of the things that actually helps you to do that is when your mind is very clear and it's very sharp. And the only way to get really clear and really sharp is to make sure that you're sleeping good at night
Yes.
and doing exercise and eating the right foods, right? Like, they're important as well, but all of these things make a difference on just how sharp you are in your brain, right? We have to really be, so much of it is just brain stuff, right? We have to really be aware of that. And then with exercise, it's a way to increase blood flow to the brain. And when we increase blood flow to the brain, it helps us to solve problems, arguably helps us to solve problems better.
Here's a this guy did a job for, I forget, I think I painted his house or something. I was having a problem, or I was struggling with trying to figure out how to do something. And I told him, I said, man, I figured it out last night standing in the shower. He said, oh man, that's a no-brainer. I'm like, what? He said, the warm water on the back of your neck
Yeah.
increases blood flow to the brain. Increased blood flow to the brain lets you think clearer.
Yeah. 100%.
So you nailed it when you said increased blood flow to the brain makes your brain clearer.
Yeah. And sleeping, going through your phases of
Yes.
sleep, cleaning the
Yes.
brain. There's even some interesting things that happen, like in memory. When you sleep at night, there's a way that your body sort of organizes the experiences that you had in the day. It organizes it in a very specific way, which is really fascinating. but it has a lot to do with memory and how you problem solve. And have you ever gone to bed at night with a problem and you wake up and you're like, I got it. I know what I'm
Oh
going to
yeah,
do.
all the time.
Yeah, like you're
All the time.
solving problems while you're sleeping. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've even dreamt about my problems.
Yeah, yeah,
And
because your
wake up
body's,
and
your
have
brain's
and
figuring
wake
it
up and
out.
have the answer.
Yeah, isn't it cool? It's so cool.
Yeah,
So it's just so important to sleep. You know, again, going back to just like, it's just so important. It's so imperative for every piece of your physiology, every part of your DNA benefits when you sleep good at night, you know?
well, it's a no-brainer that sleep is a natural element of human life, and without it, your life will you die, and
Yeah,
without good, your life is not going to be very productive or very. You
yeah.
won't be performing at your optimum
No,
without
yeah.
good sleep, not just sleep, but good sleep.
Good sleep, quality sleep.
So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we all need sleep. We all should have good
Here's
sleep.
the
And
question
good
I've
sleep
got
is
that I haven't been able to figure out. And it's, I like to look at things from an evolutionary standpoint, meaning like the reason humans have existed on this planet for, I think it's like 4 billion years or something like that. I might be completely off on that. So go fact check that if you want, but we've been on the planet for a very long time. We haven't been killed off yet, right? We've survived this long, and we've actually made it where we're like the top of the food chain, right? We're the supreme beings on planet Earth. And evolutionarily, in order to be able to survive like this, your body, your DNA will adapt over time, and it will get rid of things. It will take things out of your existence that allows you to survive and breed better, right? Like that's kind of like how evolution works. For some
yeah.
reason, sleeping has not, you would think that sleeping would have been taken out. Like we wouldn't have to sleep anymore, because if you kind of think about it, when we're sleeping at night, we're like completely exposed. You know, like predators can kill us. You know, it's kind of like it's a weird thing that obviously it's so important for us that it hasn't been evolutionaried out of us.
Well, since you put it in an evolutionary term, there's there's a probability that, say, caveman or Cro-Magnon man or whatever slept less
Could be.
because
Yeah.
there's something out there in the dark that wants to eat him when he's still and quiet.
Yeah.
So as we've evolved, we've gotten soft. We've built walls around us, houses. We've got things to protect us, alarms. We've got other things to protect us, guns. You know,
Yeah.
we have street lights, and so we've gotten soft.
Well,
And
maybe
in
not
our
soft. Maybe we've gotten better because we're able to sleep more. Now our
well,
brains got bigger.
we've gotten smarter.
Yeah.
Right? We've
Ah,
gotten smarter,
I
and
love that. That's
in
amazing. That's
getting
a great
smarter,
perspective.
we've been able to protect ourselves better, so
Yeah.
that we can, when we do actually really need sleep, we can sleep for as long as we need. We
Yeah.
can sleep for as long as we want.
Yeah.
Where back in the caveman days, you were good to get 10, 15 minutes every night, because you're waking up every time you hear a branch crack out in the dark,
Yeah.
because you figure something is coming to eat you.
Yeah. That's a really interesting perspective. I'd never even, you completely blew my mind. That's amazing.
You're welcome.
It makes some sense. Yeah. That makes some sense.
Well, this is old man thinking.
It's fun. It's fun to think about this stuff though. You know, we've got to, this is like kind of what science is, right? Like science is like trying to come up with different hypotheses, and then you've got to kind of explore them.
Well, it's all, at the end of the day, it's all theoretical, because we weren't there.
Yeah. 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 We didn't have the experience of
Yeah.
that long ago. Well, anyways, I think we should wrap this up. We've gone long enough. I think we've covered this. We beat this one to death. Maybe not. We could probably talk about another 10 hours on this subject, but that's why we'll just have to meet again.
I don't know. I don't know if I can talk another 10 hours. I'm getting sleepy.
Yeah, let's get some sleep so that we can talk for 10 hours. All right, man. I'm out. Bye, Keith.
All right. This is Keith. I'm out.
Bye.